Hey guys, I'm Bhavya. In this video, I will discuss the easy problem and the hard problem of code drift 2 pointers. So let's look at the easy problem. You are given an integer array containing n integers. You can remove at most one subarray from it such that the remaining elements must occur at most 2 times. Find the minimum size of this subarray you need to remove such that the remaining elements must occur for at most 2 times. So n is less than equal to 10 to the power 5 and ai is less than equal to 10 to the power 9. So for example, if A is 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, then we can remove the subarray 2, 2, 3 and we will get 1, 1, 2, 2. And in this array 1, 1, 2, 2, no element occurs more than 2 times. So the answer will be 2. The minimum length subarray will be 2. Obviously, an answer will exist because we can delete the entire array and get an answer. So let's look at the solution approach. Now, let's actually take the same example 1 1 1 2 2 2. So one thing you can notice is let's first keep a variable occurrence which finds the initial number of elements whose frequency is greater than 2. So for example, in this case there are 2 elements whose frequency is greater than 2. We can actually find those elements by, let's say, keeping a frequency array, and when the frequency becomes equal to 3. So we know that when the frequency becomes equal to 3, we can increase our count because it went from 2 to 3. So there are occurrence plus 1 elements now whose frequency is greater than 2. So if this variable occurrence is equal to 0, if this is equal to 0, it means that there are no elements such that they have a frequency which is greater than 2. Then we can simply return that the answer is 0 because we don't have to delete any subarray. Otherwise, we need to find a subarray of minimum length such that if we delete it, there is no elements whose frequency is greater than 2. So since we need to delete a subarray, let's say we will keep a frequency as well. So this is the frequency array. The frequency of 1 is 2 and the frequency of the frequency of 1 is 3 and the frequency of 2 is also 3. So since we are deleting a subarray, we know that a subarray will be of like L2R. It will have a left range and a right range. So we can actually iterate over all the possible values of L, but now we also need to find R. So how do we do that? Actually, it turns out that we can do that using 2 pointers because L2R represents the deleted range. So for example, if we found the R for a given L and we need to find the R for L plus 1, how do we find that R? That means we need to find the R dash such that if we delete L plus 1 to R dash, we get a subarray in which no element has occurrence greater than 2. So one thing you can notice is that R dash will be greater than or equal to R. That is, the right pointer will be non-decreasing. So if it is non-decreasing, then we know that our right pointer can increase at most n times, and in which case the complexity will be On. But how do we actually prove that the right pointer will definitely increase? So we know that if we delete the element L2R, no element has frequency greater than 2. Now consider L plus 1 to R. So we have added the element AL. So since we have added the element AL, if the frequency of AL becomes greater than 2, that means we need to increase our right range because we need to delete some elements until we reach AL because the frequency of AL is greater than 2 now. Otherwise, the frequency of AL is still less than 2, less than or equal to 2. That means there are no elements whose frequency is greater than 2 in L plus 1 to R, and in that case our right end will stay same. So our right end can either increase or stay same. So that is the idea of 2 pointers. So let's actually try this in this example to understand it more clearly. So we first store the frequency of 1 and 2, which will be 3 and 3 initially. Now we assign right index as -1. So our right index is currently pointing here, and this is our current, let's say right pointer is face downwards, and this is our current left pointer. Now occurrence stores the initial numbers whose frequency is greater than 2. So we'll try to include the next element R plus 1 at 0th index. That means we'll try to delete it until the occurrence becomes equal to 0. So if we delete this, R comes here and the frequency of 1 becomes 2. So since the frequency of 1 becomes 2 now, we will decrease the occurrences as 1 because there is only one element whose frequency is greater than 2. But still, we want occurrence to be 0, this variable OCC to be 0, so we'll further increase our right pointer. So we will move here and decrease the frequency of 1 as 1. Now notice that the frequency of occurrence will remain 1 because it moved from 2 to 1. So if the frequency moved from 2 to 1, then it was obvious that we haven't considered its value in this occurrence variable. So again, we'll try to increment our right pointer. So this frequency becomes equal to 0, but we don't update the occurrence value. Again, we move our right pointer and decrease the frequency of 2s2, and this occurrence becomes equal to 0. So now, since the occurrence is equal to 0, we stop for this left pointer, because for the first left pointer, we have found the right pointer such that if we delete the subarray, we get no element whose frequency is greater than 2. So for L equal to 0, we get R as 3. So we'll simply update 3 minus 0 plus 1 as one of our answers. So initially, let's say we set answer to N, which is 6 in this case. So we'll update our answer as 4. Now we will increment our left pointer. So if we increment our left pointer, that means we have added this element, because we deleted the elements from 0 to 3. If we move from 0 to 3 to 1 to 3, that means we added the A0th element. So we'll increase the frequency of 1, which we added again. So the frequency of 1 becomes 1 now. Still the occurrence is 0. So we'll update our answer as 1 minus 3 minus 1 plus 1, because L is 1 and R is 3. So we'll update this as 3. Answer will be 3 now. Again, we will increment our left pointer and increase the frequency of 1 to 2. Still the variable occurrence will be 0 now, because no element is frequency greater than 2. So we'll update our answer as 3 minus 2 plus 1, which will be 2. So we'll update our answer as 2. Now we move to this element. So now the frequency of 1 becomes equal to 3, and so we update our occurrence variable as 1. Now we will increment our right pointer until the occurrence becomes equal to 0, or we reach the end of the array. So we increment our right pointer, the frequency of 2 becomes equal to 1. Again, we increment our right pointer, the frequency of 2 becomes equal to 0. And now we cannot further increase our right pointer. Now notice that the value of occurrence is not equal to 0. So we won't update our answer, because we want the value of occurrence to be equal to 0. So again, we increment our left pointer, and that increases the frequency of 2 to 1. Now we cannot actually increment our right pointer. So we have to check if the frequency is equal to 0, occurrence is equal to 0, and which is not the case. So we won't update our answer and increment the right pointer. So now the frequency of 2 becomes equal to 2, but still we cannot move right pointer, and neither the occurrence value is 0. So we won't update our answer. So we can finally return 2 as our answer. So let's look at the code to understand it more clearly. So we initialize occurrence as 0. Occurrence stores the number of elements whose frequency is greater than 2. N is the size of the array. Count occurrence stores the frequency. So we iterate over all the elements and increment the frequency. If the frequency is equal to 3, we increment our count. Now if occurrence is equal to 0, simply return 0, because there are no elements whose frequency is greater than 2. Otherwise, we set right as -1 and initialize answer as n. Now our left pointer ranges from 0 to n, so we iterate from I equal to 0 to n. Now we'll check if we can take the next element. So if r plus 1 is equal to n and the value of occurrence is still not 0, we increment r. So we decrease the frequency of ar. And if the frequency becomes equal to 2, that means it was 3 before and it becomes equal to 2. So we have decremented the number of elements whose frequency is greater than 2. So we decrement occurrence variable. If occurrence is equal to 0 after this, we'll update our answer as r minus I plus 1. Otherwise, we increment the frequency of ai. If the frequency of ai becomes equal to 3, it was 2 previously and it now became 3 after incrementing here. So we will increment the occurrence variable, and so we will finally return answer. So what about the time complexity? We know that the left pointer will increment at most O(n) times. Similarly, the right pointer will also increment O(n) times. So the time complexity will be O of n. But if let's say you're also keeping a map to store frequencies, and we know that insertion and checking works in n log n in map, log n in map. So the map will cost n log n. So total time complexity will be n log n. Also, you could use, let's say, a hash map to reduce this to O(n). So let's look at the next problem, hard problem. You are given an array A of size n. A subarray AL2R contains all the elements AL, AL plus 1 and so on up till AR. A subarray AL2R is called a scalar subarray if maximum of AL2R and AL plus AR are congruent modulo B. Here max ALR is the maximum value of this subarray. So two elements are congruent if two elements A and B are congruent modulo n, if their remainder with respect to n are same. So we need to find the total number of scalar subarrays Since the answer can be large, return it modulo 10 raised to 9 plus 7. So for example, consider this array 8, 7 and B is 4. So we know that the subarray 8 is scalar because maximum of 8 is 8 and AL plus AR will be 16, and 8 and 16 are congruent modulo 4 because their remainders with respect to 4 are 0. So let's look at the solution approach. We will use the same the second example to explain 4, 5, 3, 8, 8 and B is 5. So we have this array 4, 5, 3, 8, 8 and B is 5. Now the first thing to notice is we want that maximum of AL to R, this is congruent to AL plus AR mod B. Now, the idea is that we can actually use divide and conquer to solve this problem because we need to find the total number of scalar subarrays. So if we have an array, we will divide it into two parts, the left part and the right part, and we will find the number of scalar subarrays in the left part, number of scalar subarrays in the right part, add them, but we also need to, this is the divide part. And that's actually easy because we can simply do it using recursion. Now the important part is conquered part. That is, we need to find the scalar subarrays of which a prefix lies in the left part and the suffix lies in the right part. That means the subarray has a prefix which is a suffix of the left part and the subarray has a suffix which is a prefix of the right part. Something like this, the shaded region. So we need to find such subarrays. And for that, we will use two pointers. So we have an array and this partition. Now we want that there is some left part and there is some right part, and we need to find the number of subarrays such that the maximum in this range is congruent to AL plus AR modulo B. Now what we will do is, we will first assume that the maximum lies in the left part and then the maximum lies in the right part. For the case where it can lie both, so we can also have duplicates. So to counter that, we will consider the first occurrence of a value as maximum. So for example, if we have 2, 1, 2, this array, then we will count this occurrence of 2 as a maximum. The first occurrence of an element we will consider the maximum. So we will first consider that the maximum lies in the left part. So if the maximum lies in the left part, let's say we are at this index L. Now the current maximum value is mx. This is the left part, and now consider the right part. So we know that we can only move up till some index r such that all the values from here to here will be less than or equal to r, because we want the maximum to lie in the left part. We have less than equal to because we consider the first occurrence as maximum. So can we use two pointer to find that index? So what I mean by that is, let's actually look at this example to understand it clearly. So if we have this array 4, 5, 3, 8, 8. Now we will divide it into two parts, that is 4, 5, 3 and 8, 8. Now let's say the maximum occurs in the left part. So if the maximum occurs in the left part, what we will do is, let's say we have considered the L is this index. So if this is the L index, we'll find the rightmost element which can be the right index. So in this case, we cannot have any element here because we want 5 to be maximum. So if we take any element, 8 will become maximum and we want 5 to be maximum. So for this example, let's take a different case. So we have 4, 3, 5, 3, 6 and 4, 3, 7. So for 6, our current maximum is 6. Now we know that 4 is less than equal to 6, so we can increment our right pointer. Again, 3 is less than equal to 6, so we can increment our right pointer. But now we actually cannot take 7 since 7 is greater than 6. So for this index, we have this element which can be the rightmost index. Now if we move here, so we move to this left index. Now our current maximum is still 6. Let's say this was 8. Our current maximum is still 6. So we cannot actually further increment our right pointer because 7 is greater than 6. Again we move to the left index and now our maximum becomes equal to 8. So now we can actually increment our right pointer since 7 is less than equal to 8. So we increment our right pointer. So for each left index, we find the maximum right index such that the maximum from L to R will be in the left part. And we know that that right index will be monotonic. Since the maximum, so maximum actually is non-decreasing in this direction. So consider this case that if we are moving over left index, and now we know the maximum value, right? Maximum value is mx, and we also know al. So from this equation, we can actually find ar modulo b. So we know that ar will be equal to al minus mx mod b. So if we store the frequency of elements in the right index modulo b, we can actually find how many choices we have for AR, because we know that this is our left part and this is our right part, and this is the maximum index, right index, like from here to here, this is the maximum right index that we can have. So we just need to find the frequency of AL minus MX modulo B. So we'll store the array elements modulo B here and find their frequency. So this may sound complex, so let's actually dry run this on our example to understand it more clearly. So B was 5 in our case. So we'll store the frequencies of elements modulo 5. Now this is our first divide part. Now again we will divide it into two parts, 4, 5 and 3. Now for subarrays of length 1, we can simply check if maximum will be 3 only, and we can simply check if 3 is congruent to 3 plus 3, which is 6 modulo 5, and we know that that's not congruent modulo 5 because 3 modulo 5 is 3 and 6 modulo 5 is 1. So this is not congruent modulo 5, so we'll return 0 from here. So return 0 from here. Now for 4, 5, we again divide it into two parts, 4 and 5. Now 4 plus 4 is congruent modulo, is not congruent modulo 4, so this returns 0, plus this returns 1, because the maximum will be 5 and the left AL will be 5 and AR will also be 5. So 5 and 10 both have remainder 0 modulo 5. So this is a scalar subarray. Now for 4, 5, we need to consider the conquer part. So we first consider the case where the maximum lies on the left part. So we have 4 here. So current maximum value will be 4. Now we'll find if we can take the elements. So we'll consider this partition and we can take the elements from here. We know that we cannot take 5 because we want the elements, all the elements here to be less than or equal to 4. In addition to that, we will also store the frequency of elements which we have taken in the right index. Currently, the frequency of all the elements will be 0. So, what elements do we want in the right index? So, maximum value is 4. AL is also 4. So, AR will be 0 modulo 5. But the frequency of 0 is still 0. So, we'll add 0 here. So, this conquer part actually gives us no answer. So, we return 1 from here. Now consider, now this case actually gives us no answer. So we'll consider the case where the maximum lies in the right index. So if the maximum lies in the right index, we currently have maximum 5. Now what is the maximum index that we can take? So we'll move here and we can actually take this element 4. So we'll update the frequency of 4 modulo 5 as 1. So the frequency of 4 will be 1 now. So our current maximum is 5 and right element is also 5. So we want AL to be 0 modulo 5. We want AL to be 0 modulo 5, but the frequency of 0 is 0. So again, when we consider the case where the maximum lies in the right index, this also fails and we return 1 here because we have 1 as this answer in the right part. For the conquer part, we get 0 answer. So finally, we get 1 from here and 0 from here. So we return 1 here. Now consider 8, 8. Now for the 8, 8, we can divide it into two parts, 8 and 8. Now is the array of length 1 congruent? So maximum is 8 and AL plus AR will be 16. So are these congruent modulo 5? They are not, because 8 modulo 5 is 3 and 15 modulo 5 is 1. So we'll return 0 here and 0 here. Now for 8, 8, we will do the conquer part. So we first assume that the maximum lies in the left part. So we have 8, 8 and a partition here. So maximum lies in the left part. So our current maximum is 8 and we will try to increment our right pointer from here as long as the values are less than equal to 8. So we know that we can actually move to this 8, right? Our right pointer can be here since this 8 is less than equal to 8, and we'll update the frequency of 3 because we are storing the frequencies modulo 5. So the frequency of 3 will be 1. Now the maximum is 8 and the left value is also 8. So AR should be 0 modulo 5, but the frequency of 0 modulo 5 is 0. And similarly, if you consider the case where right element is maximum, so right element is maximum. So now we actually cannot move our left pointer because we want the elements to be lesser than 8. Since if it is equal to 8, then this won't be maximum because we are considering the first occurrence of an element as maximum. So this also returns 0 here. Now consider the conquer part for the complete array, and this will actually give us a good understanding of how is divide and conquer working. So we have 4, 5, 3 and 8, 8. So let's say we have a partition here. Now we'll first consider the case where the maximum lies in the left part. So we start from here. Our current maximum is 3. Now we will see how much can we move our right pointer. So we cannot move our right pointer because the maximum is 3 now, and if we want the elements to be less than equal to 3. So we move left and we get 5. So maximum will be 5, but again we cannot increment our right pointer. So we move left and maximum is still 5. So again we cannot increment our this pointer. So now we will consider the case where the maximum lies in the right part. So our current maximum is 8. Now we will try to move our left pointer. So we can move our pointer here. So we'll update the frequency of 3 modulo 5, which is 3 as 1. So we update the frequency of 3 as 1. Again we can decrement our left pointer. So we update the frequency of 5 modulo 5, which is 0 as 1 as well. Again we can further decrement it. So we update the frequency of 4 modulo 5, which is 4 as 1. So now for this L, so now for this R, we get maximum value is 8 and AR is also 8, and we need to find AL. So this is our relation modulo 5. So AR will be 0 modulo 5. AL will be 0 modulo 5. So we have actually stored the values, the frequency of values modulo 5, and the frequency of 0 is 1. So we can add 1 to our current answer. Now again we will move our pointer here. But if we move our pointer here, the maximum stays the same and we cannot further decrement this pointer because we are at the end or the left end. So again we will find the condition of AL. Again the condition of AL is it should be 0 modulo 5. So the frequency of 0 is 1. So we'll add 2 here. So this conquer part gives us 2. So finally we will add 2 to this one and return 3 as our answer. So the basic idea is divide and conquer, and how we conquer actually can be done using 2 pointers. So let's look at the code to actually see how we can implement this and to understand the tiny implementation details. So we assign n as the size of the array. So AI is initially assigned to the array, and this is actually a global array, and B is also B, a global B. We also store an array ABI, which will store the elements modulo B, and we return scalar from 0 to n minus 1. So this is the divide and conquer part, scalar L to R. If L is equal R, what we want is the maximum will be equal to AL, and elements will be AL will be also AL and AR will be also AL. So we want this to be true modulo B. So in other words, we want that AL is equal to 0 modulo B. AL is equal to 0 modulo B. So we know that we have stored AI modulo B in array ABI. So we just simply want ABL to be equal to 0. So if this is equal to 0, we return 1. So we assign mid as L plus R by 2. Now we initialize our answer as, so this is the divide part, scalar L to mid and scalar mid plus 1 to R. So we assign maximum as minus 1. Index is actually the index of the maximum value, and we assign R as mid. So we first consider the case where the maximum lies in the left part. So we have L to mid and mid plus 1 to r. So we first initialize our right pointer as mid, that means to the left of this array. Now we will move from this in this direction to, so we actually iterate over all the possible left indexes. So we initially assign maximum as -1. Now we move from mid to L. If AI is greater than maximum value, we update the maximum value, and we also update the index of the maximum value. So now let's say we are at ith index. This is our left index, ith index, and we have updated our maximum value. Now we want that while the next element to be taken, so r plus 1 is actually a valid index, that is it is less than equal to r, and the value at that index is, which is ar plus 1, this should be less than equal to mx, because we want the maximum to lie in the left part. So if this is the case, we increment our right pointer, and we also update the frequency of that right element, but we do not change the frequency of AR, we actually update the frequency AR modulo B, because that's what we want to find for our answer. So now our maximum value is actually AB IDX. So AB IDX is actually A IDX modulo B. So this should be equal to, now our left value is AI. So we can actually write it as A modulo I plus, now we have AR modulo B. So what is the remainder that we want? We want AB index minus ABI. If this is negative, we add B. So we simply want this frequency f of RAM, and we add it to our answer. Now we can actually do similar, we can do the similar case for where the maximum lies in the right part. So if the maximum lies in the right part, we again actually set the frequencies to 0 because we want to reset it. So we again initialize maximum as -1, and now L will be mid plus 1. So our current L is here, and now we'll iterate over this index from here to here, right index. So right index can be from mid plus 1 to R, that is I from mid plus 1 to R. If AI is greater than mx, we update our maximum value index. Now, while the next element to be taken, that is L minus 1, is greater than equal to L, that is it is a valid index, and it is less than mx. Notice that we are now taking less than mx and not less than equal to mx. Since if it is equal to maximum value, then we will take the first maximum value because we are taking the first occurrence as a maximum value. Now we decrement the left index and take its contribution in our frequency. And we know that what should be our optimal value of the left index, and we will simply add the frequencies of that left index module B to our answer. We again reset the frequencies to 0, and we will return the answer. So now what will be the time complexity of this solution? So we have Tn equal to twice of Tn by 2, that is the divide part, and the conquer part is actually O of n, because we iterate over left indexes, and our right index will definitely either stay same or increase, that is it is non-decreasing. So the total number of movements of all the left indexes and the right indexes will be of the order n. So from here we can say that the time complexity will be O of n log n, and space complexity is On, because since we are only storing some arrays. So it was actually a good problem to understand divide and conquer. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching this video.